The Alliance substation is going at 2123, 2133, and 2135 Mount Vernon Road. It's in a residential area. I spoke to one of the neighbors who proposed the project, Vince Walrath, who took me in his golf cart through the meadow and down to see the old growth forest that is behind where that project is proposed to be. In addition to the noise that it would create for the residents in the area, there is also a runoff problem from herbicides that would be required to keep weeds down, to protect the power station that would affect the old growth forest. Alliant owns the property, as I understand it, all the way back to Cargill. They could put it somewhere else. They don't need to put it in a residential area.
Thank you. This next round of questions will be starting with Mr. Shea. Do you support 4 Total Child Project in Wellington Heights?
Absolutely, and I was proud to be part of the ceremony where they tore down 1415 Beaver Avenue, a place that probably had $40,000 worth of police calls to it in a 2-year period. I was part of the process where they met with investors because they made it clear they were not going to move forward unless they had the confidence in the city council. Their investment is probably going to be $30 to $35 million in buying up homes and renovating them and taking a holistic approach to helping a child from birth or need, whatever that might start, through the age of 18. It's absolutely a game changer for that neighborhood. It's an incredible gift to the youth of that area, and we're already seeing it with the houses they bought. We're already seeing a decrease in crime. We need to support nonprofits like that go up and raise their own money and are at risk to do bold and innovative things like that. Thank you.
It was in the news not too long ago that the state legislature's got funding for mental disabilities, and so I think it becomes more and more important to work with our youth to ensure that these problems don't become problems as adults. So I think that these facilities are absolutely important. We need to do whatever we can to encourage more. Thanks.
My neighborhood, I'm glad to see the work being done there. There are some short-term pain or long-term gain. The houses are being sold for under market price, and so that really does make it difficult for homeowners in the neighborhood to sell their property. Talked to one of my neighbors who lives on 18th Street who had to reduce her property by almost $12,000 in order to move it. And this is her savings and her ticket to California. I think the focus of this project is on children, but it's also for workforce housing for the medical district. So we should keep in mind what kind of redevelopment is involved here. It's all about the money, folks. You heard him say it right here. This lady lost $12,000. She had to pay to move her house so she could go to California or whatever. We got the other guy talking about, it's mental health with the children. It's a bunch of BS, man. They're taking your tax dollars and they're rehabbing, they're socially cleansing the southeast side. If that wasn't true, Mr. City Manager, we would already have the HCU Center up. That is where they used to be. It's been open for 2 years making money now to the special interest people. Nothing against those who got money, but don't cry to me when you don't take care of the social issues in that core neighborhood. When you continue to let them open up liquor stores, smoke shop, you're not helping the problem. You're contributing to the problem. I don't care what you do with the houses. Drug dealers got plenty of money. They've infiltrated our city, and to sit here and say they're going to start another new program, it's just to make them look good. That's all. We help the underprivileged kids. We live good doing it. We have a little part of it.
Thank you. Mr. Mackey, we'll start this round. The question is, would you make any changes to the charter of the city? And if so, what?
No, I don't think I would.
Okay. Mr. Cedar?
The Charter Commission met not so long ago and went over the charter with a fine-tooth comb, and their conclusion was that no changes were to be made, and I would just make that decision. Definitely change the people that you have. I mean, that's why we're up here. You know, we changed our form of government in 2005 because we thought it was broke. We've had 3 elections now, and we're not satisfied with the people we have. So maybe it's not the people we have in office. I'm taking a different look at this. Maybe it's the employees that we have working for us. It's a great day in Cedar Rapids. How may I help you? The simplest of breeding will help our community by leaps and bounds. You call City Hall. Dad, City Hall, you don't like what you say? You're done. How many people out here have been hung up by the city because you complained to them about an issue? How many of you have been disrespected by a city employee or the council that doesn't talk to you? When you break that communication with your public, neither one knows what the other one's doing or thinking or wants. They hold a meeting, hey, tell us what you want. You know, it works, but you have to have the people in there that make it work.
Thank you. Mr. Shea?
No. The Citizen Commission went to the charter recently, decided that they didn't need with a lot of input, decided that they didn't make any changes, and I support that decision. Thank you.
Mr. Cash, we'll start this round. The council recently passed an ordinance requiring background checks on tenants and revising what is considered a nuisance. Do you support this effort?
I believe the reference is to the new ordinances in the municipal code chapter involving chapters 22 and 29. The ordinance was broadened to involve all houses, all housing in the city. I think the issue of doing background checks is a good idea. It protects the landlord, especially under the new law where trouble calls by the police after a certain point begin resulting in financial penalties. So I think it's a good idea, and would support and would continue to support it. Thank you. It's illegal. It discriminates against people like me. You know, I've got a long criminal history that Rick Smith has so graciously printed all over and says not one good thing about working with Tanager Four Oaks Foundation 2, for the Holiday Center, for the Harlem Globetrotters, working with the homeless people, feeding them, giving them a place to stay. It didn't say none of that. So this guy does a background check, looks online, he sees all this, and he just leaves out that I've had my rights restored for 12 years. You know, all the good works that I do, I guess that's not important. You see, when you're a real threat to these people, then they want to badmouth you. When they know you can do their job better than them, then they're gonna slander you. You know, I'm a man, I ask for answers, and I get a blank wall. We've got to change the way we do business in Cedar Rapids, or we're going to end up paying for it all. Probably approximately 56,000 housing units, and that would be apartments, houses, condos, any kind of living. A third of those are apartments. And that in and of itself is not bad, but in places like Wellington Heights, that's not bad. It's about 50% owner occupied, 50% rental. We want that to get up to 65. And that's why I applaud what Four Oaks is doing. Because at some point the market will take over, and you can buy a house for $50,000, and you can put money into it, and it's bankable. That's not right now. You know, we don't tell the landlords who they have to rent to, but we require them to be accountable for the decisions they make with their tenants. That excessive police calls will be their responsibility. I look at the Beaver Avenue apartment that I just talked about. There's probably no question that there was no background checks, no visible
strongly disagree with the new changes to the nuisance law. I think that landlords are small business owners. I think we're trying to put too much cost on these small business owners in the city. I just think it sends the wrong message, and I happen to agree with Mr. Bates on this. It's absolutely illegal. Thank you.
Okay, this may be our last question, depending on how long Ken takes to answer it. So I'm going to go back to street repair. There are two more questions regarding street repair, both having to do with how to fund it. One question is simply asked, what funds would you use? And the other is a question about casino revenue. Would you be willing to spend any casino revenue on street development and repair? And we'll start this round with Mr. Bates.
How to fund it? We've got a multi-million-dollar 380 camera that they put into the general fund. It's a general fund donation, so it's untraceable. They can say they're doing this, but they're doing that instead. We've got an impound fee, so when you're caught driving without a license, without insurance, dope in your car, you get a $500 impound fee. You see, this was revenue that was supposed to go for this. Do you think these people came up with that 380 camera idea? Come on. We worked as a team with District 6. We came up with a solution to slow the traffic down on the S curve exclusively. They threw in, the police department threw in the red light cameras. They threw in the red Jeep. Does it work? Well, it seems to, but we got to have accountability for that. There is money for roads. Where did it go the last 30 years? Anybody know? I mean, did it not keep up? Who wasn't doing their job where it didn't keep up with our growth?
Right now, a larger portion of our street budget goes to repair. And the best way I can describe that is to put it as an analogy. You wait too long to paint your house, and the paint doesn't hold. And you can paint every year, but it's still not going to hold. So just to keep ahead of this, and with especially with streets, you reach a point of diminishing returns where it just isn't feasible. So the street repairs is very important. More important is to get the opportunity, as local after sales tax passes, to fix the streets once and for all, and invest the money. You know, I've owned a couple small businesses, and I've learned that when things get tight, the first thing that goes is deferred maintenance. If you can't afford to paint your house, you typically say, well, food on the table is more important. And so this is a long time coming, and I want to see it fixed. Thank you.
As much as I disagree with the wording of the laws about the way it sits now valid, after talking with so many voters, I was absolutely convinced it's going to pass. So once I'm on city council, I'm just going to make sure that that money supplements what we have now to go towards fixing our streets and fixing them correctly. You know, I've seen a number of asphalt repairs go on around the city. Those aren't going to hold for any amount of time. We need to fix them. We need to fix them right. Second part of that question, should the casino be approved and come to town? Of course, some of that money would go to street repairs. I think street repairs needs to be a top priority in this city, and I'll make it that. Thank you.
I think we need to look at myriad of sources to support street repair and ask who benefits. Who benefits from our streets? All of the property owners benefit from having streets. So we have a stake in that as property owners. Without good streets, our property values go down. It's hard for us to, even no matter what we ride or drive, hard for us to get places. Automobile owners benefit. And you look at what is hardest on our roads, the heavy vehicles. And so I think looking at charging more for registration fees for those vehicles that are hardest on the road would be part of it. So looking at who benefits and assessing the expense there would be the way I do it.
Mr. Bates?
Right.
and you answer those questions.
Right.
So, we're going to go on to closing statements now. Thank you very much. I will say that first of all, thank you very much for all of your questions. They were thoughtful and obviously great concern to those of you who are voters. Very much appreciate that. There are several questions that did get answered tonight. My hope is that the candidates will stay a couple of minutes afterwards, and so if your question did not get answered, please make yourself known to these candidates and ask them questions about how much money has the city saved for smash FEMA money for flood control. Are you worried about generating crime, tax breaks for businesses, and how to encourage more downtown housing? So those are the questions that did not get answered this evening. We answered a huge number of questions this evening, and I thank all of the candidates for their very thoughtful answers to those questions. Now, we'll move to closing statements. You each have 2 minutes for your closing statements, and the order will be Mr. Mazurchuk, Mr. Shea, Mr. Bates, and Mr. Cash. So, Mr. Mazurchuk, will you begin?
Thank you all for taking time out of your evening to come out here and listen to us talk for a while. Thank you, Lee. We all learned a lot about each other tonight. I hope you guys learned a lot about me. If you have any other questions, if you want to get to know me a little bit better, I'm going to hang around for as long as it takes afterwards to answer everybody's questions. Thank you.
Mr. Shea.
And thank you for hosting the forum. Thanks for coming out tonight. Right after the flood, I went to Grand Forks to see what they did. It was really the darkest days of the city. And I came back so energized because, they said, it's going to take 10 years. It's going to take 10 years to rebuild. And we came back and we thought, we're going to beat that. And we had a choice about those. Be timid and risk disinvestment, stagnation, unemployment, flight. Most cities that go through this kind of disaster, people leave. Yeah, we chose that road. And again, I know we made decisions that reasonable people would disagree with. And we had tough choices to make. But I don't know how you can argue with the results. It's a vibrant city. We have unprecedented public investment, private investment in the city. And that's going to reap benefits. Our tax levy has been flat for the last 5 years, which the people in Grand Forks and Tollman are astounded. And we still have the highest crime rate possible. So we had tough choices to make. Not every decision was easy. And sometimes we had to make decisions without 100% guidance. But like my dad said, lead, follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bates.
I'm going to finish what I wanted to say. The man said 10 years and we're finally done with it. If you believe that, I got a bridge over here to sell you. We're already 5 years in. We were just going to use it for flood recovery. And if you trusted them with that, you think they did a good decision with their money, then by all means vote it in. If you're like the rest of us and you don't want to tax yourself and give them free money, that's fine too. All you have to do is look at Detroit. And look what they did when they took a budgeted item and put a tax for it. You can't rely on that. It's a never-ending tax on you, on your children, on your grandchildren. And I don't think we should make that decision without more information. There's been a lot of controversy with me, and, it's taken a lot to get up here before you all, and thank you guys for coming. It's one of the few things that I've learned how to do with this city council. They thank themselves so much. I mean, you're paid to do a job. You don't need to thank each other. Thank the people in the community that stood behind you for the festivals that people didn't show up for. Thank them for cleaning the empty lots and volunteering. And when you have a memorial, you shouldn't have it at 10 a.m. and just have the media and city officials there. I bet there wasn't 6 flood victims there. The flood was 5 years ago, and it changed a lot of our lives. But it changed a lot of other things in our city. It took away the top layer so that we can actually see how our government functions. And they've taken that away from you again by holding meetings at noon and 4 p.m. First thing I'm going to do is ask for a federal investigation into our Cedar Rapids Police Department. We got people dying at the hands of cops with no media coverage, no back to 5:30 and re-engage our citizens. And then once a month, we'll have a meeting for our youth, our teenagers, so that they can engage with us also. They are part of our community. Thank you.
Mr. Cash?
I too would like to express gratitude to all of you for coming out and giving us a chance to talk with you, and I trust that when this forum is over that you'll want to speak with me following. I'll stay as long as it takes. I'm focused on cooperation in economic development, cooperation in watershed management and flood protection, and in neighborhood development. So on those items, I just believe a cooperative spirit is going to move us along a lot further and a lot faster than continuing in the present pattern. I realize how many people have helped me come to this point, and so that is a demonstration of collaboration and cooperation that I've come to appreciate personally. And should I be elected, I will know upon how many shoulders I stand. I want people who have helped me to be proud of me as a council person. I want the 3rd District to be proud of me, and I want the 3rd District to think that they have done the whole city a good turn by having me on the city council. I also would like to see our neighborhoods focusing first of all on neighborhoods in my district, but those neighborhoods